the PRO of the Diaspora Women for GO. The Governor and the First Lady recognize us to the extent that whenever we are having celebrations, achievements here in the government house, we are at the back of our mind and we are given special invitation. That is why, as a group, we take it upon ourselves to travel from far and wide. We have members from the United States of America, we have members from Canada, we have members from England as far as to Europe. Last year, my team was here. This year, we are here again, which we are doing this morning, to introduce our able leader, Mrs. Adesowa Obasoma. In the area of special needs, because needs are of various categories. We are here for those that need special needs children.
I am delighted to be here on ground to see each and every one. We thank you. Where we come from, the Western world, special needs teachers are paid more than regular needs teachers, regular students. And there are different packages for special needs teachers. But slowly but surely, I'm sure we will get there. I don't want to take much of your time. We can go on and on. There are different programs in the Western world available for special needs children. And I believe the more we work with this population, the more we get people who are interested to work and dialogue with us, the more we will have information and we will be able to reach out to people over there to get the help we need in making the jobs a little bit easy. That's part of our goal. And as a Diaspora Women for GO, we are just starting to work with this population. Because like my sister already said, this is a population that I'm very, very passionate about. And anything, just anything we can do to assist, we'll be more than happy to assist in any little way that we can. It was founded by my very humble self, and I'm very grateful for the women who have come on board. I am very appreciative of the sisters that have come on board, that have keyed into our vision to be a part of this Diaspora Women for GO. This group was birthed last year during the election cycle in the states. There were things that were going on which most of you are aware about and aware of. And due to those storms, we decided, you know what, it's not just nice to sit and spend and complain and, you know, throw stones or just watch things go bad. It's important that we step up and try to do something. And slowly but steady, I started talking to a friend here, a friend there, and before I knew it, so many women came into the vision, and we decided to support Governor Obaseki during the election cycle. And after the successful election cycle, the governor was sworn in. We came in last year, celebrated with him, he was sworn in, and we were all happy. And then we decided, wait a minute, it's one thing for the government to be in office, he has a mega agenda. What area can we now key in to assist this government in governance? And in that thought, we started to look at different areas that we felt there was a need. Special education came to mind the second time. I say a second time because when I came to Nigeria a few years ago as ENAW, Women Affairs Coordinator, I came and I distributed backpack for special needs children as well. Prior to that, I had no clue that Edo State the Benin city that I was born and raised in had a special needs school. I went to the first lady to inform her that I was on ground to distribute backpacks on behalf of EMA of the Union. And she said, oh, why don't you start with Ihope Primary School, Ihope School? I said, Madam, where is that? Oh, she said, I will send somebody to go with you to show you where the school is. That's how I got to know of that particular school in that location. And when I got there, it was heart-wrenching to see the kids, to see the teachers that were teaching with basically not much to work with these kids. I've been around special needs children for the longest. Unfortunately, this program was scheduled for Saturday tomorrow, which would have made it more convenient for more people. We have 2 trainers flying in from US and UK. They should be arriving if the flight brings them maybe at 2 o'clock or thereabout, or 3 o'clock, I don't know. But if they do make it here, they will give their presentation. But if they don't, of course, you all by now know Mrs. Bunake. She's a trained educator, special needs care educator. She's coming, she's an recruiter, so we just have some last minute tidying up to do, so she's trying to tidy that up and she will be here with us shortly. And so we're going to move forward and hopefully we will establish and continue to have
my relocation to Nigeria, without mentioning my younger cousin, Mrs. Diaspora, Omasoma, please. She has passion for this. Unlike me in the US, she didn't read special education, but I did, and the master's level. Disability doesn't tell who you are, it's just a part of you. Being an ED child, ADHD, Down syndrome, autism, blind, hearing impairment, it does not define who you are. It's just part of you. So I want us to know today, special teachers, special children, we are special. It takes a good, great heart to be a teacher, but it takes a super good, great heart, to be a special teacher. If you know today, after I finish with you, other teachers finish with you, you do not have a passion of 85% for this course we are in, you back up. We're going to Lagos from Benin, so I took a flight, fully loaded. Well, they know the passion I have for this profession. So, I want you, everybody, touch your back and pat yourself. Say, I am great. I am super duper great because I am a special teacher. Thank you. Let's say it is a society where the difference of gender, class, race, etc. is overriding. We don't care about your race, we don't care about your age, we don't care about who you are. That also it is ensured inclusion, equality of opportunity, as well as capability of all members of the society. Now, when we say all members of the society, are we excluding special needs? To enable us determine and agree social institution that can govern social interaction. Simple. We don't care about your age, we don't care about your disability, we don't care about your gender, about your religion, no. Let's be included. If you do not understand that, and you need to ask a question about that, we can come back. Put your questions down, please. Let's go to the next one. What is the aim of inclusive society? Before I continue, let me quickly say something. I told you. So if you decided to call me here, where you know I love talking, kudos. When I was called upon, I was going to give a lecture. I said, oh, really? Mrs. Abasi kept bothering me. It got to a stage I included in society? I said no. So then talk about it.
As I was longer in university, no child left behind. Every child can learn. I think that is Mrs. Salami. Is that not my foundation's slogan? That every child can learn. So no child is left behind. For themselves, people with disabilities, they can't fight for themselves. But we can be at the forefront. Who, if you want to support me, I'm ready. Mrs. Obasi said she's ready. My ladies from Diaspora, they say they are ready. If you know you're ready to join me to fight for those that need special needs, put up your hand. Yes, we are going to fight it. Slowly we will get it. Thank you. Now, can we go through that again? The inclusive society should focus and be based on all human fundamental rights and freedom, irrespective of their personality. No matter your personality. You see, one thing I like about, I don't know, I think I'm disagreeing. Simple. You see, I like myself for one thing. I'm a mathematics major. I'm not English major, so I always keep my things simple. I can't speak Oyibo. So, again, how do we build an inclusive society? This is my own view. Your own view will be very different. Since we have Zoom, you can even put your own view there. Don't rely on this. I can't know it all. I am still learning. Workshops. Unlike here, when you get your certificate, you get it. I still renew my certificate. I was studying my cousin. I said, I'm coming in February because I need to write the test. 5 years, I still go to the US. I go every year, twice a year. I now have to spend money, put them, go write an agreement for them to learn different things. And I said, if you send them to jail, they will come hard. So they are good now. And since then, nobody has come in there by the grace of God. So when you die today, nobody cares the money you have in the bank. Nobody cares the house you have. Nobody cares what you. All we care about how many lives have you touched. How many lives have you touched? I don't have anything. If I show you my bank account, I think I'm just telling you why we got nothing for your account. No. How many lives do I touch on a daily basis? My concern. And when the governor came to my school, she said, Mommy, Wesley Obera. He spoke that name. Quote me, Wesley Obera. He said, this wonderful woman giving all hers to these children. He promised to her, and they are already at work. Mrs. Salami, you saw what happened yesterday in my school. That's the only way I will cry. That's the only way I will offend me. I don't care what you do to me. If as an adult you come in to offend me, you already knew I was going to be angry. So when will I allow you take control over my emotions? No, I just move on. Get there, everybody, get there. Don't care about what anybody says. Don't care about what they think about you. You are special. You are who you are. Your area, your disability does not tell who you are. It's just part of you. Then have full participation or effectively participate in society. Would you, let's be honest, teachers, special teacher, if a deaf person comes in to contest to the House of Assembly, Edo State House of Assembly, would you cast your vote for that person? Okay. I want to go to the local government as a councillor. I want to go to the House of Assembly. I want my voice to be heard. Will all of us come talk. Don't worry, I'll give you time to talk. But Queen, all I have been trying to share with you in this talk. I didn't give a lecture. I kept talking because nobody responded. I didn't ask a question. You didn't ask a question. So I've been talking. Emphatically and respectfully, that persons with disabilities should not be left out in the policies that govern the society they belong. Let their voice be heard and respected, because there is ability in every disability.
Monitor them based on their multi-disciplinary needs. So on that aspect, we also involve physical therapists, we involve nurses, we involve medical doctors, we have social workers, even their families are also part of this multidisciplinary approach, because it is not a one-size-fits-all affair when it comes to issue of disability. So as a medical professional, I'll be talking about what these children sometimes exhibit. You as teachers, what you have to look out for before it escalates. So sometimes they go into some acute episode. I will call it acute episode because it does not tell you that it's going to happen. Rejecting may mean a friend that he or she was forced to get up to go to school. So that thing is still within from her head. These are things that we have to really watch out for. Like I said, they all exhibit different signs. They all have different auras. As specially trained teachers, it is an utmost duty for us to know what they all are. Some children may be very active 1 minute, then the next minute they are dull. So these variations are not things that we have to take for granted. We have to follow up and ask why. Those on medications, make sure you ask the child, what happened this morning before you came home? Did you take your medicine? Did you eat? What are you thinking about? So ask certain questions. Don't just assume that, oh, that child is like that. No, that's how he behaves. No, that's how he behaves. It's not a slogan that special ed teachers should use on children. Assess them on a daily basis and approach their needs as necessary. I will be calling on stage another healthcare professional to talk briefly about this same topic.
As a matter of fact, I live in the state of Texas. Our governor today is in a wheelchair. The governor of the state of Texas, the second largest union in the United States, is in a wheelchair. So what does that tell you? That physical disability is no limitation. It does not matter what you are, it is part of you. I think I like the way Mrs. Abloye said it. It is not external to you, it is part of the person. And for those of us that are in the profession of taking care or teaching people with disability, we have become part of them. And as a physical therapist, I want you to know that there are certain things that are very important, even as educators, that you need to know. If you have someone in a wheelchair, something as basic as knowing how to maneuver a wheelchair becomes important. It is important for us to know the different parts of the wheelchair. There is a child, let me stick with the one that has seizure, which is the example we have talked about. So I'll just stay with that. A child in a wheelchair is having a seizure. One of the things that child might do is stretch. And if the child has a bed, that child is going to be tangled within the
wheelchair. I have seen people struggle to release the seatbelt, or the child rolls over and the child is not able, or the person trying to help is really not able to give the appropriate assistance. Like the wheelchair, like the cane, like the walker, the adjustment of it, is it balanced? Is the tip falling off? Because when the tip falls off, that child is at a very high risk of falling. For example, a child falls. How do you manage falls? Why are we talking about all of this? I'm saying all of this to kind of prepare you to know that more is yet to come by the grace of God. What we are doing today is just proper teaching techniques, or better way to handle people with disability. By the grace of God, maybe in the next room or the next in-person, we'll be talking about the different things that you look for in placing a child in the appropriate class. We may know all the things that we really need to know right now about a child and how to teach that child. And we may not know if the method that we are applying actually is the best for that particular child. One thing about children with disability is the specificity of their conditions. The presentation is always different. We have we heard it from our sister, Miss Hollins. You know, I just feel like I should say, whenever we talk about the nurse practitioner, this is a digression, we always talk about nurses. But America has taught us that a nurse practitioner equals an MD, a medical doctor, because they can prescribe. Yes, I thought I should talk about that quickly. They prescribe medications. And there are, she's a family nurse practitioner, you have psychiatric nurse. In my practice, I do have a psychiatric nurse practitioner, for example. I have family nurse practitioner in my private practice that I run. So it is important for us to know that when next we come and we are talking about this, that to get more and more people involved, because what will be brought is going to be something that is as equal to anything in the world by the grace of God. Amen. So that's by the wayside. So back to physical disability. It is good to know that a child that is on medication, that may be on medication 3 times a day, the mother actually gave the first dose. And most of these children that go into seizures, they have to maintain their medication. Most of them is 3 times a day for seizures. So for that purpose, if the mother gave one and an actual episode is about to come and the child keeps missing the middle dose, that episode is going to just keep coming. So it's also important for us as educators to know how to give this medicine in school. So what we are doing now is like really we are going from here to here, but it is attainable by the grace of God. We are praying that by the time you all see the children you are teaching, perhaps that we talk about the political involvement of children, of people with disability, becomes the governor, like the governor I have in the state where I belong. It will give you joy. It will give you fulfillment that this child you taught, the child that people thought wasn't going to amount to anything, has become something. Then your reward starts from here, by the grace of God. So all I want to be talking about is really knowing how to maneuver the medications, or how to manage medication, how to use and adjust ambulatory aids, and even much more importantly, since this is trying to educate people that educate, is how do you place the different people into the different classes. The IQ becomes very important. The neurologist needs to come in, the psychiatrist needs to come in. Some of the things that our sister talked about in terms of behavioral issues.
What we are doing here today, the governor is aware. the organization and the government of the state is very much aware. And we're going to give a report back to them as to what we did. So we need to take some information that is dear to your hearts back to the government here too. So that we are trying to work in partnership to make Edo State really greater for the good of every one of us. So whether we live here or we don't live here, we desire the best for Edo State. We desire the best for citizens that live here. Of course, the government alone cannot do everything. That's why we are jumping in. So we don't jump in and be doing the wrong things or duplicating effort. What do you need? We need you to tell us.
A school bus, because the school is in 3 units, and these children, with their level of ability, without the school bus, they cannot go to school regularly. That is just the first thing. Then number 2, one government to employ more teachers, more special teachers, and caregivers. 3, security is very vital for now. Thank you.
Actually, the school needs school bus. Like I have for the school for the early parents. Most of the children they are poor. Why? Because of lack of transportation. They are at home. Then secondly, we equally need caregiver. We have good caregiver. Teachers in my school do multiple work. They teach at the same time. They are packing the sheet of the children. When children defecate in the class, we have no caregiver. Is the teacher is to take the responsibility to be packing the sheet, which is very bad. It's all their duty to do so, but we have no option. Then patch it day out. Then thirdly, we need special trained teachers too. We are lack of teachers in my school. Then we equally need when the copper, you will not enable me to go to the area I'm supposed to go to because the copper is unsafe. We need a geometer machine, speech train machine, and so on. Computer, but if you have it, where can we put it to learn? Nowhere. Because the whole laws in that area, they continue to be vandalizing the school copper day out. As we are here now, they are there. Yes, vandalizing it. Yes, they are there right now. Vandalizing it. It's every day's work. It's everyday activity, day out. So let it rest my case there. All special schools supposed to be residential that is talking about as it is in western region of Nigeria here. All special schools in the western region of Nigeria here, Ibadan, Oyo, Lagos, and so on, named in western region. They are all residential. What Edo State to be Lagos to say.
Maintain the school bus. Is there going to be a driver for the school bus? Who is going to be paying the salary of the school bus driver? Because those are the questions that we were faced with when we were trying to raise funds to get school bus for the special needs children. We realized that those children getting from home to school, it's a challenge because of their physical disability. We met a parent at his school last year who said it takes him almost 2-3 hours to get from their house on Saturday Road to the school. That cars will drive past them and not give them, taxi will not even pick them because of his child's physical disability. That's the shame in this society because everyone is a human being. So tell me, if we were going to give you a bus, how do you maintain that bus? Who responsible for driving that bus? Where will that bus be parked? And are we sure if we give you a bus today, when we come back next year, that bus is being put to use for the actual purpose it was intended?
We were having the bus before that the government gave us during the time. That was the bus in the ministry every week, everywhere they are going to. They always demand for that bus to the extent that they went into the bus to not Kaduna at all, but look at very far. On their way home, they got the father into the bus while the director died. So that's the end of the bus. That was presently means of expression yard as we are talking to.
Let me understand this, sir. The bus that was in the States.
Yeah.
And on their way back, whoever took the
The father asked them, this was already 3 times. The director died.
Okay. So, that was the end of that bus.
Yes.
Okay.
So, about maintenance, it's a booklet. It's a big challenge.
When you say hostel, is there land for hostel space, for hostel that prison to build a hostel? Is there land in your stuff?
Yes. We are, governor set a committee before 3 years ago when they did the survey. The result is with the then government house. They did the survey, they came out with the result where the school should be built, which is the building upper. Yes.
National workshop, because most of our, let me say 75% of the developmentally challenged don't get to the university. What they do is after their elementary education, they acquire a skill of their choice, not a skill of their parents' choice or society's choice. No, their own choice, so that they can become independent of their parents and the society. Then a second one is a rehabilitation center. Then thirdly, teaching and learning aids like audiovisual apparatus. Thank you.
For my school, we are already into vocational skills to an extent with the help of the governor himself. But right now, there are other areas like the speech room, the occupational departments, occupational therapy. There are instruments. We want a well-equipped occupational therapy room. You know, for my mommies that have spoken, that are in the medical section, they know the things. I don't need to start listening now. They know those things that can help the children in the sensory and occupational room and the speech room. Then visual learning aids, those areas. Well, please, I would like to go a bit further. Permit me to go a bit further, talking about transportation. Because in my school we have doctors that come from UPTH to come and treat them, do occupational therapy, do speech. So we're thinking of collaborating with them also, but taking the children there, because coming over they pay, the parents pay, that's the truth. They pay for it, and some can't even afford it. A few that can afford it, they do it. But the time is also limited, twice a week for the speech. So we're looking at, for the transportation, getting them something that can take them there weekly. I think when you go to the government hospital, they can pay just 6,000 a month, which is affordable, but getting them there. If you talk about the maintenance, I think we can do the maintenance, we can pay for that. So those are the things Salem is actually looking at. A way with speech room, occupational physiotherapy, then collaborating with the government.
In my school for the visually impaired, we need brain machines. We don't have brain machines again. All the brain machines, they are all bad and obsolete. So we need slates and stylus. We need abacus. We need mathematical tailor frames. We need craft materials, typewriters, musical instruments, braille keys and material for teaching science. We need functional workshop. And not only that, they are appealing to you that we should come to our aid concerning the relocation of that from that area. No matter what they put in that area is one day, one problem. Every day they vandalize that place. So we are appealing to the government that they should relocate that school, special school away from that Ihobe area. It's not a progressive area. So thank you very much.
Also see this umbrella from me. If you have seen this before, raise up your hand. Thank you. But today we're just reviewing this quickly to encourage those who were not with us in Zoom and also for our awareness. And if you've seen this before, please take it as a refresher. Okay. We're gonna. Okay. I talked about all kinds of disability during our Zoom training, and then I addressed specific learning disability, and that brings us to the umbrella term of specific learning disability, how it affects attention. And then we went in to talk about types of learning disability. That is where we have dysgraphia, which is a term that refers to trouble with writing skills and comprehension. So, and then we proceeded and went on types of disability according to Disability Act. Remember, specific learning disability is what affects to the cognition, motor skills. It could be visually impaired, and it could be comprehension. So as we go further today, we're going to go to all the stages of learning that you can use in your classrooms. So we went to dyslexia. Dyslexia is a common condition that makes people, comprehend slowly or make mistakes. For example, there are some students, they read backward. It's a disability, or they jump lines. Then the next one is dysgraphia. Dysgraphia has to do with calculation, especially in math. You think some students are not good in math. It's not that they are not good in math, it's a disability. They miscalculate, they don't know how to run it up to get an accurate answer. And then we went ahead to talk about dyscalculia, which is also, dyscalculia as the word goes. You calculate and then you dyscalculate. So it also has to do with calculations. And then we also talk about auditory processing. That is why when we're addressing some students with auditory problem, which has to do with our hearing, we need to be loud speaking, and then we also need to use some visual to illustrate. We also talk about other health impairments, which also will fall under the umbrella of OH. Remember I said we are professionals, we need to be using technologies. OH is other health impairments. SLD. If you are in the Zoom class, what is SLD? Specific Learning Disability. So as professionals, this is what we should take out here, to be talking in terms as relates to special ed. Then we also talk about emotional disturbance. There are some of our students, they go through situations at home that are unexplanatory that can affect their learning in school. So that is why when some students come to school, you want to tap into them to just check in to see how they are doing before you proceed in learning. That is emotional disturbed student. We come
with mental problem. The way we reason, and that affects our cognition. So instead of saying this student is mentally retarded, we'll say this student has intellectual disability. And we'll talk about traumatic brain injury, how it affects learning. There are some students that might be doing well, but when they now have something that affects the brain and they slow down, it could be accidents, something falling on their head. There are some students that have to wear helmets to be able to control that traumatic injury. And then we went on to talk about multiple disabilities. Multiple disabilities is when you have more than one disability. And then we now run it up to multi-disabilities or multiple disabilities. Just like I use deaf blindness is now more than one disability. There are some students, this is very common among children with autism. You know, autism we just think is speech. Not really. Autism has to do with a lot of developmental delay, which, you know, affects the brain, affects cognition, mental status, emotionally disturbed, also leading to ADHD, attention hyperactive disorder. Further explain a broad use that you can use to describe social behavior. There are some students, if you pay attention in your classroom, when a stranger walks into the classroom, some will go and hide, or some will put their head down, or some don't even want to deal with social interactions. If you say hi, they just put their head down. So autism affects our social, you know, it's so painful that when these students are playing, they play side by side on their own. They don't want to socialize with other children. That is where we come up with what is called peer mediation. Peer mediation is when you pair a regular student to play with a child who is socially delayed. You'll be watching them gradually. They are able to pull the students along. It's a very slow process, but when you pair them all the time, you will encourage, it facilitates communications and social skills. The students who is socially delayed will start learning from the typical developing pair. The typical developing pair is the one we have in regular education. That is where we will also be diving into inclusion, how we include these students with their typically developed peers.
Okay, there is one thing that is common among these developmentally challenged children, and that is power control. Irrespective of their age, they mess up themselves. In my school the other day, a boy of about 23 years still messes up himself. And over the years, I discovered, I noticed that this has been a recurrent situation. Man, is there no medical solution to it? And if there is no medical solution to the problem, what can we do to help these persons? Because like what that happened, he refused to come out of the toilet when he after messing up himself. I asked the caregiver to go check. There was kind of delay. And went there on my own. And I discovered he has messed up himself. And he was shy. It took us a long time. I think we have to come and call the main teacher.